your host. Okay, today we will be going deep into the forest. We are going to flood the great American turkey. Okay, we're going to start our hunt now. Okay.
Breaking news. An unknown humanoid figure is prowling the streets of Northampton. Scientists say that he might be trying to infiltrate Jeremy Whalen's wedding. We here at the male version of The View recommend that you seek shelter immediately and avoid Jeremy Whalen's wedding at all costs.
This is the police. We have you surrounded.
So how was your day?
Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky warned that Russia was preparing a new wave of attacks in eastern Ukraine. Zelensky urged the West to aid Ukraine by increasing their pressure on Russia, including complete blockades of banks and oil. In other news, on Thursday, the United States Senate confirmed Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Supreme Court, making her the first black female justice. Jackson was confirmed on a vote of 53 to 47, mostly following party lines, but with 3 Republicans voting aye. On Wednesday, federal prosecutors and the FBI announced the arrest of Chicopee's superintendent of schools, Lynn Clark, at her home in Belchertown. Clark was arrested on a charge of lying to the FBI, who had previously accused her of sending threatening text messages to a candidate for the city's police chief job. As always, I am Shiloh Hammerland, and thank you for watching.
Welcome to Half Duck.
Y'all ready for this?
Ultimate Frisbee is a non-contact, self-refereed team sport dating back to the late 1960s where 6 players from each team try to get the Frisbee to the opposing team's end zone. We talked to the captains of both the girls and the boys' Ultimate teams to hear how they are preparing for the season and how the sport has been growing rapidly.
How do you guys prepare for tournament weekend?
So we'll often have pasta parties at someone's house where we'll all go and hang out together and eat food, mostly pasta.
Yeah, we also play a lot of games, mostly Frisbee.
And we just make sure to stay really excited and get hyped for the upcoming tournament. One of the most important parts of tournaments in Frisbee is the pickles and Twizzlers, key food for, staying hydrated, being on top of your game.
Why pickles and Twizzlers?
The salt in the pickle juice keeps you.
That's interesting.
Usually we have a pasta party at my house and we play some pickup Ultima and we just get ready for the long weekend.
Well, we'll do a lot of carbo loading the night before to get as much energy as we can for the, game-filled day or 2 days, depending on the tournament that we're in. It requires a lot, so getting as much energy prior is very important.
Hey, Hunks, how do you prepare?
I'm immunized.
Are you surprised with how fast the sport has grown in the past few years?
I think it makes a lot of sense. I think we have a lot of people coming into Ultimate from other sports because it has such a welcoming environment and it's really easy to transition into and feel like you have a place in the sport.
Yeah, honestly, anyone can play. You could be a beginner, and we'll show you all the techniques and the plays and skills.
And in addition to that, if you're also coming from another sport, it's a really fun transition and it's a very athletic, quick game. So it's perfect for beginners and athletes as well.
Are you surprised how much the sport has grown over the past few years?
Not at all, actually, because the spirit of the game, there's no refs in Ultimate, so you have to keep track of everything, and there's a lot of spirit of the game. Everyone is just being responsible, and it makes for a really fun event and program.
I'm not surprised either. I think one of the main attractions of it is that it's a very welcoming community. I think a lot of people who haven't done any sports prior or any really serious exercise in the past really, attach on to Ultimate for the community, community relations of it.
A little surprised, but not in Northampton. Northampton's had a good program for a couple of years, and since COVID, we've seen a boost in numbers as well, not cases, numbers of players, obviously. And so I'm just really happy to be a captain this year and see the growth in a sport that's really fun.
Thank you for watching and tune in next week where we talk about outdoor track.
Welcome to the pilot episode of Eater's Digest, the show with weekly good eats and a closer look at their culture.
This week, along with Ben and Samuel Corriard, French foreign exchange students, we ventured out to Patisserie Lennox to try their authentic French baked goods.
Welcome to Eater's Digest. Today we're sitting down with Benjamin Corriard
and Samuel Corriard.
Okay, so do you want to maybe introduce us to what pastries we have here?
Here we have an éclair au chocolat, known as a chocolate éclair.
This is a macaron.
And this is a chausson aux pommes. It's basically a croissant with the apple in it.
Okay, so I'll be taking this macaron.
I'll be taking the chocolate éclair.
I'm taking the chausson aux pommes.
All right, ready?
Oh wait, well.
Oh, don't let it fall. First question is, how long did you two live in France?
Well, we were born in France actually, and we just came to the States this year. So for me, it's been 16 years, and Sam?
14.
Yeah.
Over. I'm gonna go on Ben. Mine was actually pretty good.
Oh, I'm gonna finish this. This is really good.
Very elderflowerberry. Very nice. All right, I forgot my question. So when comparing American cuisine and French cuisine, how well do we hold up here in the States?
Well, what I really like here, there's a very large diversity in what you can eat. You'll find food from literally every place around the world. Whereas in France, food is more, it's more from France, and it's very cultural. It's a very cultural thing. When we talk about culture in France, you usually notice the wine, the cheese, the baguette, or pastries, and so it's something that's very cultural and that's very worked. yeah, very refined.
Are there any American foods that you say are your favorite or that you really like?
Well, I personally really like actually the mac and cheese. Yeah.
Yeah, mac and cheese is pretty good. I also like everything that's deep fried. So deep fried Oreos, like stuff like that is pretty good.
Yeah. All right, all the unhealthy stuff. We excel in it. We excel very well in it.
I would say that it's different. You don't find deep fried stuff, that much of deep fried stuff in France, and I feel like we were amazed by how many stuff you guys deep fried.
I'm amazed too.
We like deep fry water at this point.
we actually didn't know that deep fried Oreo was a thing.
Yeah,
like,
we didn't know.
Really?
No, we did not.
It's mostly at like carnivals and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know.
Or like fairs.
Yeah.
Ooh, we went to the
Big E?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was insane.
Did you get like the big puff thing? They have like a...
Oh, the cream puff. We got that the first
yeah.
day.
Yeah.
It was so good.
But then after you feel like
Yeah.
you feel like you're gonna throw it's
I didn't even finish mine.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
It is
Yeah.
a lot.
Well, I mean, we're really big here in America, so we're like...
There's actually, that's something that's interesting, in that here, the portions you'll have are bigger.
Yeah.
But you can bring them back to your place. Usually you can have like a box, and they'll give you a box, you put your leftovers, and you can bring it home. Whereas in France, they'll give you like smaller portions, but you usually, even if you don't finish, you usually don't have these boxes to bring back.
Oh, you don't have like to-go bags?
No.
We do, but most people don't.
It's not like commonplace, really?
It's not common at all.
Except for pizza, obviously. But
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
like
That's
when we
interesting,
go.
though.
Yeah.
Merci d'avoir regardé. Un grand merci à la pâtisserie Linux.
Et à la semaine prochaine.
Au revoir.
With all the uncertainty in the world today, and the prospect of next year for the seniors, I wanted to find out what I could expect. The only way for me to do this was through a tarot reading. After reaching out to a few local psychics, I landed on getting an NHS student to do it.
Hey, welcome to your tarot reading, Wyatt.
Thank you.
If you would like, you can just start by shuffling the cards, sort of channel your energy into them. Think about maybe life's most perplexing problems you have right now. Keep it sort of open-ended, just anything you feel necessary. All right, so now I'm just gonna spread these out for you. And you're gonna pick 6 cards, use your intuition, whichever cards are calling to you. Just like compile them in whatever order you see fit. Perfect, thank you. And if it's all right, I'm just gonna flip them 180 degrees so that I can view them. Do you want me to start from the top or the bottom?
Bottom.
Okay, sounds good. Oh, okay. Very cool. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, so in your past, you have the 6 of Cups clarified by the 3 of Wands. You took a lot of joy in sort of connecting with your peers in a sort of nostalgic manner. I think you've always been sort of a very like emotionally driven person, and it looks like you've always been looking onward to see what sort of prospects life has for you, but you did occasionally look backwards. It looks like maybe you didn't always live in the present moment in the past. You sort of would look to the future in its sort of idealistic way and the past. And it looks like you had a very romantic view of life. I'm not sure if that resonates at all with you. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. So presently, it looks like you're having a hard time conforming to society's expectations, perhaps, of being more logically driven, because it looks like this theme is coming in sort of here as well. You still have a sort of very romantic view of life. It looks like things are working out for you, at least in your perception of things, but maybe you have a hard time communicating with others and sort of putting your emotions into words. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it looks like you're having a very harmonious time. It might just be sort of like internal or with maybe one or a few other closer people, but it looks like maybe you sort of keep to yourself and you sort of take your time with things. You're very calm and calculated, and you don't like to just spring into things. I think you sort of take everything into account, and you're a very balanced individual, so that's a very honorable trait to have. So in your future, it looks like you're just sort of going to keep being yourself. You're going to stay very true to yourself. I think others really admire this about you. You're very individualistic, and sometimes it seems that you can be a little defensive and a little closed off, like this sort of internal balance you have going on within yourself sort of makes some people feel a little shut out. But I think the people that matter the most to you will really admire you for who you are.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.
Hi, I'm Anaisha Feliciano, and welcome to Smarts and Crafts. On this week's episode, I have
Miss Powergreen. I am a special education teacher here. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm glad to be here.
Today, we're sculpting whatever we desire. So, I hear you like to hike.
I do like to hike.
Where's your favorite place to hike?
So that's a tricky question because I have so many places I like to hike. So during the pandemic, myself and 3 other women every Sunday would go hiking and explore the area. And there's just so many great places to go outside and find here. So, and that still happens. We're not going every weekend, but we are going as often as we can. We just went last weekend. We went up to Bashfish Falls, which is actually on the border of New York and Massachusetts. And I think it's the tallest waterfall in Massachusetts. So it was really fun. We like hiked out there and then got to see it, and it was just really fun.
Sounds really fun.
It was my little mountain. The best part of my job as a student, I have a really close relation. I always say I work with less students, but I work more closely with the students I have. So I'm not a person at the end of the year who can say like, I've had 200 students in my class, but I have had fewer students, but the ones I have a really close relationship with, and I get to know them really well. And I really love and appreciate that. I think that sometimes the students I work with have really different obstacles than in their way. Maybe they work full time and they're trying to figure out how to go to school and do work, which is hard. You know, when do you fit in homework when you leave here and go directly to work? Or, you know, they're caring for their younger siblings and trying to figure out how to get them off the bus, things like that. So I think there's plenty of students in the school who have similar shared experiences to what I'm saying, but I think my job is to try to make this experience as positive as it can be for students.
But let's finish and show off what we made.
This is my mountain. We've all gone hiking. We are walking up to the mountain, and then there's a little bridge here with a little lake on the side of our mountain. What have you got?
Just a crumpling heart.
It's not easy to work with.
It's breaking. It's okay. I made this. I don't know what it is. It's just like, it just gives me like a little, well, now I ruined it, but it gave me a little SpongeBob vibe. And like, yeah.
I know.
It was like, I don't remember. I don't know how to explain the episode, but there was one episode where it was like, take it away, Penny.
That's Penny?
No, that's not the penny. It's the little like handkerchief he had
yeah,
next to the penny. Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.